Hello everyone, our Ask Jafarzadeh here. This video is going to be a lot of fun, but a bit of work. We're going to be moving things on our canvas, on our page. And when I say moving, it's going to be like an animation. We're going to be making a little bee character, and our bee is going to be going after honey. And it should be pretty fun. You're going to draw on the canvas and animate things, and it'll be super interactive. So hopefully you can think of an idea where this can grow into something towards a future project you'd like to do. So give that some thought, and let's get right to it. So first, I want you to make a folder and call it Lesson 4, Canvas and Movement. You can see I've been keeping my lessons organized here in the same place. So just make a folder there and have that ready for today's lesson. I'm just going to minimize that. And you can see I have my old project up here. I'm just going to go to File, and we're going to go down to Open Folder. I'm going to select that folder we made, the Lesson 4 folder. I'm just going to select that and then click Select Folder. That's going to take us into the folder. So we're going to create a new game here. Oh, let me just get rid of that. We're going to create a new file here. So you can do it a number of ways. You can click New File, you can click File, New File, or press Control or Command N. Any of those will work. And we're going to name this file. Depending on which method you use, it might ask you for the name up front, or you have to go to File, Save As. Either way is fine. We're just going to call this b-game.html. So b-game.html, and we're going to save it. And so now I have my HTML file ready to go. We're just going to type in bracket, exclamation point, doc type HTML. I'm going to kind of go through this part quickly. We've done it 3 times now, so hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Bracket, HTML bracket on the second line, press enter. Bracket, head bracket on the next line, press enter. In between the head tags, we're going to type in bracket, meta, char set. And just remember, as soon as Visual Studio Code figures out what you want to do, if you see it that it's correct, just press tab on your keyboard and it'll fill in the blanks for you, saving you some valuable time. UTF-8 is the 8 is the character set we use, and the bracket. Go on the next line. Bracket title bracket is going to be what shows up at the very top in the tab. We're going to type in the game for the title, and that's it for the head. Go ahead and go to the end of the head, press enter a couple of times. Bracket body bracket, press enter. And in between the body tags, which is not inside the head tag, it's completely separate. Here we're going to type in a heading, bracket H1 bracket, and we're going to call this, or we're going to title it Find the Honey. And then on the next line, go press enter after the H1, and type in bracket P bracket, and here we're going to type in the directions for the player. Can you help the bee find the honey? Why find as much as you can for a higher score without touching the edges. Period. And then I'm just going to press the right arrow key so you can see here. And then here it says /p, and that's the end of the paragraph. On the next line, I'm going to type in bracket P bracket again. And here I'm going to type in your score is 0. And then we're going to put a bracket BR bracket here to go on the next line. Lives remaining, colon, 5. I'm sorry, with 5 lives. And then I think that's all we need here. This paragraph is going to be updating dynamically. So we're going to give it an ID in just a moment, okay? And then I think we need one more thing. Let's do the canvas bracket, canvas bracket. And the canvas element is what we're going to be using to animate our bee. So here we're just going to set the width to 800 equals quote 800. Oops, 800. And we're going to set the height to equal to 600. And it should automatically go in quotations. And let me scroll to the left so you can see everything. So this is all we have so far. I'm going to save this. So let's go to File, Save. And let's take a look and see what we got. So I'm going to click the Run button here. We'll use Chrome. And so very simple. It says find the honey. Can you find the, oh, I misspelled honey. I'll fix that. Find as much as you can for a higher score without touching the edges. And it says your score is 0, lives remaining is 0. And I think that's it. That's all we need right now as far as the HTML goes. We do need to make some changes. First of all, I need to fix my typo. And second of all, the paragraph and the canvas are going to be updating dynamically with JavaScript. In order for that to happen, these two lines, these two tags, need to have an ID. So for the paragraph, which is currently on line 11, I'm going to give it an ID. So notice that I'm inside the angle brackets. ID equals, and we're just going to call this score paragraph. Okay, so score paragraph. And then for the canvas, I'm going to add an ID also. ID equals, again, I'm inside of the tag. We're adding an attribute. And I'm just going to call it canvas. Easy. We'll just give it a simple name. So we got that. And if I save it and I go back to the web page and refresh it, you see nothing really changed, but we did give it some IDs and we can use them later. Let us make a CSS file. Now I've shown you how to add CSS inside the document. For this lesson, I'm going to have you actually make the CSS file outside the document. So it's going to connect to it. It's going to link to it. And to do that, we're going to make another new file. So I'm going to press Control N or File New or Command N, depending on what kind of computer you're using. And now that I have this new file, I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it style.css. So now we're typing in the CSS language. And in the CSS language, we are going to give our background some color. We're going to change some of the fonts and just some basic, simple styles, nothing too fancy. So to do that, let's start off by typing in body and give our body some style. So in the body tag, we can type in background dash color, colon, and then set the color we want. So how do I know what color I want? Well, I can just go to Photoshop or I can go to a web browser here. And if I just search for hex color picker, you will see this pop up on Google. There's many resources as well. And you can just find a color you like and it'll give you the hex value to use. So I'm just going to go here and find a nice sky blue, maybe like something like that, pretty light. And then I'm going to copy this value, Control C, go back to my code, and I'm going to put a hash there, and then paste in the value, and then put a semicolon. And if I save this right now, we have just added some color styles, but not to our HTML yet. Why? Well, we made the CSS, but in my HTML, I have to tell it to go to this CSS file to know what the styles are for this page. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the head of the HTML tag, and I'm going to go inside the head and type in bracket link space. I'm going to type in rel, which is relationship equals style sheet, end quote, and href equals quote, and then style.css, end quote, and bracket. Now it's very important that the style.css is in the same folder as our bgame.html. If they're not in the same folder, it's going to try to go find it and it won't be able to find it. It's also important that you have saved both of them. So I'm going to go to File Save here, and I'm going to make sure I've gone to File Save here. And these are both saved now. And if we go back to our page and I refresh it, you'll see now we have a background color. Let's go back to our style. Just close this thing here. A little weird warning there. Go to style here, and I'm going to add in another element here. I don't like, when I look here, this big gap between find the honey and the instructions. So we can get rid of that. If I type in margin, actually, before we do that, that should be in the heading tag. But there is one more thing I want to add here. Actually, I do want to create a little gap here on the side. So before we do fix this problem, let's actually fix this problem here while we're in the body styles. And I'm just going to type in padding dash left colon, and then we'll just give it a little bit of padding, maybe 50 px. Oops. So I'm going to type in 50 px and then put a semicolon there. I'm going to save it, Control F, Command S, file save, whichever one. Go back and refresh it, and now you can see it added a little bit of padding there. And also that add a little padding at the top, padding dash top colon, and maybe we'll just do 25 px there. Save that, go back, refresh. I feel it's okay. Might be a little bit too much, maybe a little bit less. Yeah. Okay, so now we are done with the body for the time being. Let's make a style for our heading. And I'm going to type in, change the font. So font dash family colon. And let's type in Georgian, or let's see, what do we, this might actually work. I'm going to try Franklin, Arial, Narrow, and Arial. So that's fine. I'm going to select those, or you can type them out, whichever one. And I'm also going to fix that margin issue. So margin dash top colon, and we're going to set this to 0px and save it. So once I've saved it, Control S, Command S, file save, whichever one, refresh, and you'll notice that now I have eliminated the margin at the top for Find the Honey, and also the font changed. Let's go back here, and I can also type in margin dash bottom. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do, margin dash bottom instead of margin dash top, because I think I actually like the top having a little bit of margin. Yeah. So we'll do margin dash bottom instead of margin dash top. And then for the paragraph, P, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, I'm just going to type in font dash family again. And then we're going to type in Helvetica maybe. And then maybe Arial. And then maybe sans serif. This one I'm just typing in manually. Semicolon, and let's change the margin here to margin dash top. For this one, we'll make it 0px and save that. And if I refresh it, it got rid of the margin, changed the fonts, and I think we are good as far as CSS and HTML go. All right, so we're going to need another file. So I'm just going to make a new file here. And I'm going to call this, let's see, what should we call this? Let's call this game.css. Sorry, game.js. Game.js. This is going to be our JavaScript file. So game.js, save that. This is our JS file. And what we want to do now is go back to our HTML and tell our HTML to load this JavaScript file. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go and type at the end of our code right here. I'm just going to press enter. And I'm going to type in bracket script src equals game.js end quote end bracket. And it'll put the slash script for you. So in the past, we would write the code here, but I want you to actually write the code on a separate file today. So game.js. Save that. And we're going to go back to our game.js here. And let's do a test. Console.log, open parentheses, quote, JS loaded, close parentheses, and semicolon. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to send a message to console saying JS loaded. And this is going to be our test to make sure that this JavaScript is actually linked and working properly. So I'm going to go back here and do a refresh. I'm going to go to the three dots here, go to More Tools, and go to Developer Tools. This might be hidden somewhere else depending on what browser you're using. I am using Chrome, but if you're using something like Safari, it'll be similar. You go to the three dots or three lines, and then you're looking for something along the lines of Developer Tools or Console, something like that. And when you find it, and you go to the console, you can see here it says JS loaded. That means that it's working properly. So that's good. That's great. So now we can start making it interactive. So I'm just going to go back here to my JavaScript game, and we can actually get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. And we're going to start typing in our code to make it so that our game becomes interactive. We have quite a few lines to write, but I will try to keep things organized so that way you know what you're doing and you won't lose your way. So I'm going to start off by making some um, little kind of like graphical reminders for us so we can tell where we are. So I'm going to put a slash asterisk here. And what slash asterisk does, it makes it so that anything between this and another asterisk slash will be ignored. And what I'm going to do with this, just for fun and for the ease of being able to see what we're doing, I'm going to make a line as some dashes there. I'll make some dashes here. Initialize variables. I'll put some dashes here, and then some more dashes. And then slash asterisk slash at the end. And basically we just told JavaScript to completely ignore what we wrote here. And it's just a visual cue for us. We're going to be using that today. So first, I'm going to put another comment, create a double slash, and say this creates the canvas. And then we're going to make two variables, var canvas equals document dot get element by ID. You can press tab once it selects it. Open parentheses, quote, canvas. All lowercase letters. Close the quotation, close the parentheses, and semicolon. On the next line, we're going to type in var my canvas, which I'm going to name it my canvas, equals canvas dot get context, open parentheses, and we're going to put quote 2D to get our canvas going. Oops. And then put a semicolon there. On the next line, I'm going to put another comment here. Variables to set the initial positions of our I don't know, of things. That's fine. And so we're going to make var b capital X, bx. That's going to be where we're going to set our initial location for our b equals 250. Var by equals 250. So our b is going to be on 250 by 250. Remember, y-axis is going to be flipped. So 0 is at the top. And in our case, we did 800 by 600, so 600 is going to be at the bottom. And then we're going to say var. Let's make another comment here. Other variables needed for our program. And we're going to say var movement right equals false. Notice that I've capitalized the R. Var move. Actually, let's call it move right. Move right. Let's keep it short. Move right and move left equals, move the mouse, false. And var move up, up, capital U equals false. And var move down equals false, semicolon. So we're going to be using these to determine if the B should be moving right or not. We'll use those a little bit later. These are just currently just variables with set values. Var current speed X, so S and X are capitalized there, equals 0. Var current speed Y equals 0. Again, pay attention to the capitalization. And then we're going to use some elements. We're going to be making a world with physics. And in order to do that, we need certain things to make our B move. One of those things we need is thrust. So var thrust equals, and for now I'm going to set the thrust to 0.75. We might change that a little bit later. I'm going to make a power variable, var power equals, and we'll set the power to 1. We'll make a variable for friction because in the real world we have friction. So var friction equals 0.75. 0.85. We could also call it, I guess, air resistance as well, but friction's fine. And then gravity, we'll need a variable for gravity, so var gravity. Make sure you're checking your spelling as we go. Gravity equals, and we'll set the initial value to 0.15. So there'll be some light gravity, not very much. And then var score equals 0. And var lives equals 5. And we'll make a variable for game over as well. So that way, once this becomes true, the game ends. So var game over equals false. And that's it. I think we're good. The next thing is make a comment, set honey location to somewhere random. So we're going, this next line is going to set our honey location. So I just put a comment there that the computer's going to ignore, but it's a note for us. And here I'm just going to write var honey location. That's going to be what we call it. Honey location x is equal to, and we're going to type in math.random, open close parentheses, and then we're going to type in asterisk, and then open a parentheses, 800 minus 50. And I'll explain what we just did. And put a semicolon there for now. Actually, it'll be 800 minus 50 plus 50. That'll give us the margins. There we go, 50. So what this does is it's going to find a random location. Sorry, I should adjust what I said. It's going to find a random number between 0 and 800 if I put times 800. But if I put times 800 minus 50, it's going to find a random number between 0 and 750. And then the plus 50 is going to make it between 50 and 750. So it's just kind of moving it over a little bit so we don't have honey like right on the very, 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 very edge. Otherwise, that's going to cause problems for us, and the person will feel like it's unfair because they have to get super close to the edge to find it. So we're kind of making the game a little bit easier for the player. We're going to do the same thing, var honey location y equals math.random parentheses and then asterisk, open parentheses, and then this is going to be 600 minus 50 and then plus 50 semicolon. Okay, so now we've set that. If we want, we can also round the number as well, so they're whole numbers. So if you want to do that, you would just type in math.floor and then put all of this, all the stuff we typed, inside parentheses. So we can do that too, math.floor. And then what it's going to do is it's going to round down whatever random number it finds. So that's what that does. So with math.floor, if I had put 4.5 in here, it would have made 4.5 become 4. But because we have this random number, whatever random number is generated, that's going to get rounded down. All right, on the next line, let's make a paragraph var, sorry, a variable for our HTML element. Double slash variables for HTML elements, and we'll say var score paragraph. I think that's what we call it. Let me double check. What do we call it? Yeah, score paragraph. So we call it score paragraph. So over here, I'm just going to call it score paragraph. Var score paragraph equals document dot query selector, open parentheses, quote. I'm going to put a hash symbol there, and score paragraph. Don't forget that hash. I know sometimes it's easy to forget that. Put the hash there, and then so that it grabs what it needs from the HTML document. On the next line, we're typing var b dimensions equals, and then open curly bracket. And because we're adding two values, I'm going to put these in curlies here, and width colon 10, and then comma height colon 10. Close curly bracket, semicolon, var honey dimensions. Oh, and I misspelled width. var honey dimensions equals open curly bracket with colon 10 height colon 10 close curly bracket semicolon. Double check to make sure you don't have any errors here. I think we got it right. For some reason it is, oh, because I accidentally put, these are supposed to be curly brackets. I accidentally put a parentheses there. Don't make my mistake. These are curly brackets. I accidentally pressed the wrong key. Okay, and then I think that's it there. Now we're going to add something called an event listener. So let's make, first of all, make it look nice and clean. So I'm going to add a whole new section here. And then say event listeners, or let's say keyboard event listeners, and put some slashes, dashes here, these minus signs, and then asterisk slash. And then, so what this is going to do again, it's just going to ignore that section, but it's a nice visual for us. So that when you go back and look at this code and you want to modify it or customize it, you'll know where things are. All right, so we're going to type in window dot add event listener. Just to remind you what an event listener is, an event listener basically listens for an event to occur, and then when that event occurs, it does some steps or a function. So inside these parentheses, I'm going to write what the event is, which is key down. So if the key gets pressed, it's going to be listening for that, and if that happens, I'm going to put a comma here, type an event. And then we're going to put an equal sign and a greater than sign there. And then we're going to type in open curly bracket and then press enter. So notice what's going on with our code. There's a closed curly bracket and a parentheses there now. And in between the curly brackets, I'm going to say what it will do. Now, if a key is pressed, it's going to do what's here. So we're going to type in if parentheses event dot key. So if the event that of the key press happens, if that key that's pressed is equal to the D key, so I'm just going to put quote D quote. I'm going to close the parentheses. I'm going to make a new curly bracket, press enter, close the curly bracket. If the key that's pressed is the D key, then what I want it to do is make move right equal to true. And then put a semicolon. So if the person presses the D key, move right is going to be true. We're going to go here, else if open parentheses event dot key double equal sign is the let's see, let's do left will be A. So A key in quotations, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, move left is equal to true. Else if parentheses event dot key is equal to the W key, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, move up equals move up one equal sign equals true. And then lastly, else if parentheses event dot key double equal sign S is true in quotations, open curly bracket, move down equals true. So double check here. Inside the parentheses, we write double equal sign to make sure that it's comparing these two values. But in the body, like what it's supposed to do if that condition is met, you use one equal sign to assign the value. So just keep track of that. And then I think that's all we need here. Put a semicolon at the end of the parentheses here. And so basically what's going to happen is if the key is pressed, it's going to do everything between these curly brackets here, right here. And we wrote everything, we encapsulated everything within these parentheses. So that's it with the event listener. Save that and continue. We're going to make another event listener for if the key is released on key up. So window dot add event listener parentheses quote. You can copy paste if you want. We're going to make some minor adjustments. It's key up, not key down. and put a comma there. Event equal greater than, and then open curly bracket and press enter. And then we're going to type in if parentheses event dot key double equal to D, end quote, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Oop, missed the parentheses there. There we go. If the event key is the D key, we're going to say document dot body dot style dot background equals nothing, and then move right equals false. And we'll do the same thing for the next one. So I'm going to just put a close. I think I have a double line there for some reason. Close curly bracket there. And then else if parentheses event dot key double equal sign quote a quote close parentheses open curly bracket close curly bracket document dot body dot style dot background is equal to quote and nothing in between the quotes, put a semicolon there, move left equals false, else if parentheses event dot key equal to the W key, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, move up equals false, and last but not least, else if event dot key equal quote S quote, and then open curly bracket, close curly bracket, move down equals false. And that should be everything we need there. Save that. Put a semicolon at the end of the parentheses right here. And that should be it so far. All right, so those are our event listeners. Let's go down a line. Slash asterisk. Put some dashes there. I'm going to kind of break this up a little bit. And we're going to say create the bee. And then some dashes there. And then asterisk slash. All right, so here we go. So first thing we're going to do is first thing we'll do is let's type in var, and we're going to make this circle. So var circle equals function, and then we're going to pass some arguments into our function, x comma y comma radius comma and fill circle. Close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. So we're going to be passing these into this function whenever it runs, and it's going to we can work with those as we draw the circles. So my canvas dot begin path, and then open close parentheses semicolon, and then we're going to now make the arc method and create a circle at the position, the x and y position. So we're going to type in my canvas dot arc open parentheses x comma y comma radius comma 0 math dot pi, actually math dot pi times 2 comma, so that's asterisk 2, and then false. Let's see what else we need to do there. I think that should be it. And then we're going to say if parentheses fill circle close parentheses open curly bracket close curly bracket. If fill circle, this is basically saying if fill circle equal true. We could write it like that too. But you can just write if fill circle. That's the same thing. So if fill circle is true, what I wanted to do is my canvas dot fill. And that's going to fill the inside of the circle. If fill circle is not true, else, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, my canvas dot stroke. And what this is going to do, open close parentheses semicolon, is that if in the program we say fill circle is true, when it's drawing the circle, it's going to fill the circle. It's going to be the inside of the circle. If I make fill circle false, it'll put an outline around the circle. So we're going to be using that a little bit later. I think that's everything we need as far as the circle function. Just put a semicolon at the end of the curly bracket for the circle function. I'm going to go down a couple of lines here. Next thing we're going to do is type in var draw b. It's going to draw our b equals function. And then we're going to type in open parentheses, x comma y, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Then we're going to type in my canvas dot line width with a capital W equals to semicolon my canvas. Let's tab that over. Dot stroke style. It's going to be the color of the stroke is equal to, and we'll just set it to black. So put quotations, put a hash symbol, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and quote semicolon. So the stroke will be black. And then the fill my canvas dot fill style equals, and then we want a kind of gold color. So let's go back to our hex. Did I close that? Where'd it go? There it is. Let's choose like a gold color. So maybe choose a nice gold color. So I think this is pretty good here. So FFCB3D, copy that and go back to our game and press Control V and put a hash at the beginning. All right, so that's going to make the B gold colored. I think that's everything we need. And then let's go down, and then you might be modifying this at some point. So I'm just going to say draws the circles for the B. And so this is where we're going to actually draw the B. So we'll say, let's make the initial circle like the body. So circle parentheses x comma y comma 8 for the radius comma, and then false. Actually, let's do the outline first. True, and wait, no, I said it backwards. This will fill the B. So true, and so that's going to fill the B with that yellow color, that gold color. Then we're typing circle parentheses x comma y comma, and then 8 again, but false. And so it's going to draw two circles. The first circle is going to be filled with the gold. The next circle is going to be outlined with the black stroke. And then we're going to type in the next circles. So that's the body. Let's make the wings. So circle parentheses. And what we're going to do is we're going to offset the circle that it draws to the left a little bit so that it goes to the left of the body. So we're going to type in x minus 5, comma, and then so x, so it goes left a little bit, and then maybe down a little bit, or up, actually up a little bit. So it's at the upper part of the circle. So maybe x, we might have to adjust this, x minus 11, and then we'll make them a little bit smaller, so 5 radius, and then this is just going to be an outline, so we're just going to type in false. And then close parentheses, semicolon. So that's the left wing, circle parentheses, x minus 5, y minus 11. Wait, this is going to be plus, actually, because it's going to go on the right side. So make one wing on the left, and now we're making one on the right. So that should be 5, and then, oops, plus 5, and then put a comma false. Wait, no, comma 5 for the radius, and then false. There we go. All right. And then, so we got the wings. What do we need? I think we need the head and the eyes, right? So let's just draw, let's keep it simple. We'll just draw eyes on the body. I think it'll look kind of cute. So circle, parentheses, and then x minus 2, y minus 1, and probably 2 for the radius, and then false. So that's going to make the circle um, offset to the left a little bit of the center of the circle, and then up a little bit. So it's going to be kind of like in the upper left of the body, and it's going to be a very small circle. We're going to write the same thing, but with plus for the other eye. So circle parentheses and x minus, or actually plus 2, keep forgetting that, comma, and then y minus 1, comma, radius is 2, and false. And so we only need outlines for that. I think that's it. So I'll just put some comments here to help you. So body fill, and then this one is body stroke, and then the next one is left wing. This one is right wing. I'm just putting these little comments here for you. Left eye and right eye. Okay, we're getting there. We're about halfway there. I think that's everything we need there. Put a semicolon at the end of this function here, and we're set. Or this variable, I should say, variable function. So on the next line, we're going to type in var and draw honey. So this is going to be a draw honey. This is what we're going to make the function so that it creates the honey function, and open parentheses x comma y, just 2 things to pass in, open curly bracket, and we're going to do the same thing. My canvas dot line width equals 2. My canvas dot stroke style equals, and then we'll make this black again. So hash and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, end quote, semicolon. And then my canvas dot fill style equals quote, and then let's go find a good color for the honey. We could use the same color, but let's make the honey more like yellow. Or maybe we should have made the bee more yellow now that I think about it. But either way is fine, I think. Let's choose like this yellow. So we'll make it a different shade. And then it says F0 D90. Okay, so we're going to go here, between the quotations, put a hash, and paste that in. And I think that's it. The double slash draws circle for the honey. All right, so this one's going to be very easy compared to the B. Circle, parentheses, x, comma, y, comma, 10. So it's just 10. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it 12. 12, comma, true. That's the fill for the honey. And then circle, parentheses, x, comma, y, comma, 12 again, and then false. So it's going to make a black stroke with a radius of 12 and a golden kind of colored honey filled circle. So circle for honey fill and circle for honey stroke. Okay, so if you ever decide to come modify this, you'll know what those do. I think that's everything. Put a semicolon there, press Control or Command S as you go so we don't deal with a crash or something. All right, we're going to go to the next line. Now, this is the big function, okay? So I'm going to put another slash asterisk here. And this function is very important. This is the game loop. This is the thing that's going to keep happening over and over and over. And then some slashes there. And then I'm just going to put asterisk slash. Let's line it up a little bit. And I think that's it. All right, so this is the function that's going to repeat over and over. So I'm just going to type in set interval, parentheses, function, double check my spelling, open close parentheses, open curly bracket, and press enter. Notice that it now closes the curly bracket and the parentheses that we opened up here down below. So don't forget, keep an eye on that. What we're going to do is first thing when that it's going to do is we want it to clear the canvas each time. Otherwise, if we don't have these next few lines here, I should say these lines. So you know these lines clear the canvas. If we don't do this, then you're going to have like a whole bunch of B's everywhere. But each time it draws a new B, it should remove the old one. So that's why we're typing this in. So we're going to type in my canvas dot clear rect, so clear rectangle, parentheses 0, comma, 0, comma, this is X and Y location, all the way clear everything from 0, 0 to 800 by 600. And so that just basically clears everything that's drawn there. And then we do the same thing again. My canvas dot this time stroke rectangle, because I wanted to show the area that the player is going to be playing in. So it's going to make a rectangle that goes from 0, 0. So it's basically a 800 by 600 rectangle. So we're just going to redraw that because it clears it when we did that clear rectangle up above. 800, comma, 600. All right, so it's going to draw a new rectangle. And I think that is everything there. And maybe we put a comment here too, just so it's clear for you. So this, I should say this line. This line clears the canvas. This line draws a rectangle around the canvas. All right, so on the next line, we're going to type in bx. Make sure you capitalize the x, that's what we called it earlier, plus equals, that means add to the value of x, current speed x, semicolon. By plus equals current speed y, semicolon. And that's it. So this is going to happen repeatedly as long as so that when the person presses keys and then up above, what did we say? We called it move right or move left or move up or move down equals true. When those become true, what we're going to do down here is we're going to add a certain value to the current speed, and it's going to always be moving the B at those speeds. For now, the B is not going to move at all. Why? Because, let's see, where did we write that? Bx, By is 250, current speed X, current speed Y is 0. So that means that our B is not going to move at all. It's just going to stay at 250 by 250 on the canvas. So that's that. All right, now we're going to make a all-encompassing if statement. If parentheses. Now we can write this two ways. We can say game over equal false if game over is not true, or we can say exclamation point game over, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. If game over is false, it's going to play the game. So this is where we're going to write the game code. So first thing is we're going to draw a new B, and we're going to type in draw B parentheses B X comma B Y close parentheses and semicolon. And remember, BX and BY are constantly getting current speed X and Y added to them respectively. And so, which is currently 0 as far as the game knows. But we're going to be changing that when we press the keys. I'm going to say draw honey. And honey location X, comma, honey location Y, close parentheses, semicolon. And then I'm going to go down a line here. And then on the next line, we're going to type in, there we go. On the next line, we're going to type in current speed X, asterisk equals, times equals, friction, semicolon, and current speed Y plus equals gravity. Now here's what this does. We're making a virtual world with virtual rules. And so we're telling it so that whenever the bee is going left or right, that whatever the value of its speed is, whatever current speed is, that it's always being multiplied by friction, which we set up above over here. So it's always being multiplied by 0.085, which is slowing it down, right? When you multiply by a fraction, you get closer and closer to friction, not fraction. I meant fraction. When you multiply by a fraction, it's constantly getting closer and closer to zero, right? So, or fraction, between 0 and 1. So that's what that's doing. And the higher the value we make for friction, the more friction there's going to, wait, did you say that backwards? The less friction there's going to be. The lower the value, the more friction there will be. And then the same thing here, current speed y, similarly, gravity is always trying to pull the b down. Remember the y-axis is flipped, so plus means go down. So we're constantly, repeatedly changing the value so that it's affecting the b. If parentheses by is less than 0, or we're going to put shift, and it should be a key right above enter. It's these two lines. It should be the same key as your backslash, but that just means or. So by is greater than 600. So if it's by is less than 0, or it's greater than 600, or bx is less than 0, or bx is greater than 800, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. So this is basically if the b goes out of bounds. If the b is, or you're going to use it to help us if the b goes out of bounds. If the b is less than 0, that means it's out of bounds. If it's greater than 600 on the y-axis, it's out of bounds. If it's less than 0 on the x-axis, it's out of bounds. And if it's greater than 800, it's out of bounds. Okay, so here, we're just going to type in reset position, open, close parentheses, semicolon. We're going to make that function in a minute. So we haven't made it yet, so it's going to give us an error once we try to do that. Just pause here for a moment. All right, and now we're going to go after the curly bracket for the if statement. So this if statement just checks to make sure that the b is within the bounds that it should be. We are going to make the if statements for if the player presses the right key, left key, up key, down key. If they press any of the keys, A, S, D, W, that the B moves. And so we're going to say if parentheses, and if you recall, at the beginning, we said that if the, the D key is pressed, move right is true. So we're going to say move right, if move right, close parentheses, and if move right just means if move right is true. We could also write if move right equal true. We can also do that, but we can just say if move right. So if move right, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, current speed x plus equals power. Current speed x plus equals power. That's going to change the value of current speed x to add power to it as long as the right key is pressed. Remember, if we release the right key, then move right becomes false. So it only does this if the right key, the D key, is pressed. Else if parentheses move left, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, current speed x, you guessed it, minus equals power, because that's going to move it to the left. Else if parentheses move up, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, current speed, press down arrow and tab there, current speed y, and let's see, it's moving up, so remember up is negative, so minus equals power times thrust. So this is going to make it so that um, when we press the up arrow key or the W key, that not only is the B being affected by our power variable, but also by thrust. We're going to do the same thing down here, else if move, oh, and I just realized I have a typo here, move up with a lowercase p. There we go. Else if move down, close parentheses, open curly bracket, skip a line, close curly bracket, current speed y plus equals, because remember going down is adding, power times thrust. So you got a little bit of physics going on here. All right, so now that we've made that for move right, well, let's make the other parts. So move right, move left, move up, move down. We've got that if statement going. Those are for the movement. I think we need to now have it so that it detects collision with the honey. So let's put a little double slash here and say collision detection with honey. And here, just so it's clear, we'll put a double slash here, movement for the bee. All right, so collision detection for the honey. Let's press enter. And then we're going to type in if, open parentheses, bx is less than honey location x plus honey dimensions dot width. So it's going to check to see if your bee touches the location of the honey plus the width of the honey, because the width is we want it to the is otherwise it's just going to be a single point rather than accounting for the size of the honey itself, which was I think 12 for the radius. And then double ampersand, and I'm just going to, because we're going to have so many parameters here, so many requirements for this if statement, so many conditions I should say, I'm going to put these on separate lines. So just keep this parentheses right here. Bx plus b dimensions dot width is greater than honey location x. So this is going to give us a nice little range on the x-axis where our b is touching the honey. Double ampersand again. On the next line, we're just going to type in by is less than honey location y plus honey dimensions dot height, and then double ampersand by plus b dimensions dot height is greater than honey location y. Close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Oops, that's a wrong one. There we go. Let me double check to make sure we didn't make any mistakes here. So bx is less than honey location x plus honey dimensions width. That's correct. Double checking the spelling of everything. We wrote quite a few b dimensions. Width is greater than honey location x. That's correct. I think we're good here, guys. I think we got it. Okay, so in between the brackets for this, we're going to type in honey location x equals, and it's going to choose a new location. So math.floor, math.random. This is the same line we wrote at the beginning. Open close parentheses, times asterisk, parentheses 800 minus 50 plus 50. This is exactly what we wrote earlier. Close parentheses and semicolon. Did I have any errors? I think I missed something here. Math.random. Open close parentheses times 100. Yeah, I'm missing the parentheses right there. There we go. And then on the next line, honey location y equals math.floor, parentheses math.random, open close parentheses, times or asterisks, 600 minus 50, close that parentheses, plus 50, close parentheses, and semicolon. I think that's it, yeah. So that's going to reset the location, and then we're just going to say score plus plus. They're going to add 1 to score because every time they touch the honey, their score goes up. And so we're going to go to the end of this curly bracket here and then type in score paragraph dot inner HTML equals quote your score is, and then end the quotation plus score plus, and then put quotation again, bracket BR bracket, lives remaining plus lives, and then semicolon there. And we're going to go to the end of this statement here. Else, wait, make sure I'm in the right place here. No, here, after this line. So that's, I think, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. That should be, see, we have, I think I have a curly bracket out of place here. So if game over is true, that is false, actually. I think this doesn't belong here. I'm pretty sure. I think I put that in the wrong place. Just double checking it here. Yeah, this doesn't belong there. So we're going to erase this. That's a little typo there. So it's going to go there. And then we're going to put a close curly bracket here. This is where game over ends. Else, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Score paragraph dot inner HTML equals your score is plus score plus BR bracket game over end quote and semicolon. All right, so that's the game over. So it does all this stuff if game over is false. Otherwise, it's going to just give them a paragraph. It's no longer going to draw anything. And then here, on the end of this curly bracket here, what we're going to do is we're just going to put a comma after the curly bracket that was there from before, from when we first made our set interval function. We're just going to type in 30 here, so that way that's the speed in milliseconds. So it'll kind of go with like around 30 frames per second. So I'm just going to put double slash speed in milliseconds, just so you know what that does there. And then the very last thing we need to do, we're just on the home stretch here, we're going to make a function for the reset, because remember earlier we said if there's a, where was that? If it's out of bounds, it's going to reset the position of the B. So I'm just going to go over here and type in function reset position, open close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, bx equals 250, semicolon, by equals 250, semicolon, current speed x equals 0. That's going to reset the speed. Otherwise, it'll carry the speed over after it hits the side. Current speed y equals 0, semicolon. And if parentheses lives are greater than 0, close parentheses, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, lives minus minus. So it's going to subtract 1 from lives as long as it's greater than 0. Else, meaning if lives are less than 0, or 0, game over equals true. And that's going to make it so that yeah, the game ends if they have less than 0 lives, 0 or less. And I think that's everything. I think we're done. We can save this, And don't see any errors here, which is good news for us. Otherwise, they would have shown up here. Let's go back to our page and try it out and see if it works. So I'm just going to do a refresh here. Looks like we do have an error. Let me take a look here. Online 73 circle. Give me just a second to see where my error was. Be right back here. Okay, I think I see my error here. So one error is right here. I misspelled circle. So fill circle. That's going to be a problem. Oh, I didn't do it again. Fill circle. There we go. Make sure I didn't misspell it anywhere else. Let me try again. Run and debug. Chrome. Do I still have an error? That is the question. I think I still have an error here. Let me double check. So one error was circle was misspelled on my end. I don't know if it was misspelled on yours. Still looking for any other errors. Let's clear this thing here and go here and let me launch it manually here. Still looks like we have our little error here, possibly. Oh, maybe not. There's something going on here that's not making it work. Let's keep researching, seeing where the error is. All right, I'm back. I just noticed another error. So when I typed my HTML file here, bgame.html, I misspelled height. So that explains why the canvas looked weird. Let's just save that there and then go refresh. And okay, there we go. Okay, we're getting closer. The bee flies, but for some reason, I must have made a mistake with one of the wings. One of the wings is going the wrong way when you press WASDF. Let's go see if we can figure it out. Why one of the wings is not following the path. But everything else seems to be working. There's some delay with one of the wings. Let's see if we can figure it out. I'm going to go back here to our Visual Studio Code here. And I'm just going to, is it still debugging? Hopefully not. Let's just close that and stop that. Okay, so let's see here. When we drew the wing, which was here, was in the right place. All right, I think I found the other error, which is right over here. Instead of Y, where we were drawing the circles for the B, I put X. So that might be why it was acting weird when I was moving the B around. And that does affect the left wing. So there's the problem there. Let's go back and refresh it. There we go. The bee is flying around. And it's kind of a little bit, gravity's a little weird, but let's see, let's give it a try. So we can see this, and my lives remain is 3. So I think gravity's a bit too high. I'm probably going to adjust that. And then thrust is okay. So let's go back and look at our variables here. So we had gravity set to 0.15. Let's try to make it so, well, actually, or it might be the thrust is not enough. Let's give it a little more thrust. So let's say 0.85 and see how that feels. Let's go refresh this. That's a little bit better. All right, there we go. I think we got it. We got a flying bee. It's flying around. Looks good. And if I lose after a while, should say game over. Corn scores 1. We did it. All right, had some issues there, but overall I think we solved all the problems. And it's quite a bit of code. If you need help with it, just send me an email. I'm happy to help you. And good job, everybody. We'll see you next time.